When I think back to the time that my son was on chemo, I remember it very differently than how it felt as we were going through it. Because of that, I'm going to share some of my old Facebook posts as we go through this part of the journey. On the 5th, I wrote, "Honestly, I was a bit terrified about today. The terror has been growing since Ben came out of brain surgery and we could focus on his treatment plan. He had gone blind in the left eye, so we knew he needed chemo to battle the tumor growing on his right optic nerve, threatening his sight, and I can't even really think of the tumors growing in his brainstem. I know that he needs it, but that didn't really comfort me. I worried about how he would handle it and how his life would be impacted. Today was day 1, and I have to say, we have been extremely blessed. Ben recovered really well from the placement of his port, and he's not really that bothered by having it in. They gave him his favorite food after surgery, and he ate with no problem. He handled the treatment well, and they've given him such wonderful nausea medicine that he hasn't even thrown up. I know that Ben is strong, and we would have handled today however it turned out, but I can't tell you how relieved I am at how wonderfully it has gone. Thank you all so much for the prayers and positive thoughts. I feel so blessed today." I found activities that took concentration in really short bursts were the best distraction for me. I couldn't really read a book when I felt like I had to look up every few seconds and see how Ben was doing, but other activities that could be frequently interrupted were great distractions for me. Crossword puzzles, Sudoku, brain teasers, riddles, joke books. Actually, Ben really enjoyed hearing little jokes from joke books. Adult coloring books, drawing with a spirograph. This was one of the best poke prizes ever. I don't know if you heard of poke prizes. I don't know if they do poke prizes everywhere, but at the hospital where we were, at the hospital where Benjamin did his chemotherapy, every single time that we came in and they had to access his port, they would give him a little gift, and the anticipation of knowing that he got to choose a gift after he was accessed really helped ease him through the process of getting the port accessed. So anyway, each time he got to pick a little present, and once he picked a spirograph, which was really an awesome prize. That was like hours of fun with that. Anyway, knitting or crocheting, I didn't really do this, but whenever my mom came with me to the hospital, she found this really soothing and kind of the perfect activity where she didn't need to focus all of her attention on it. She didn't need to stare at it all the time. She could look up frequently or look away or be distracted or take a break and come back, and it all was fine. So we had fun. Since Ben got to pick a poke prize for every treatment, we really got to play with all sorts of toys during treatment. Some of his favorites were putty, and then sound putty that makes fart noises. He loved that. Slime, kinesthetic sand, Play-Doh, and Legos. There were all sorts of activity books and other toys that were fun for a while, but these squishy types of things and the creative type of toys that you could build with seemed like they were really the most fun for the longest amount of time. So if you have anybody that's going to be spending a lot of time in the hospital, from Ben's mom perspective, I would say things that are squishy, feely, and buildy are the best toys that helped him when he was age 9 and going through this. I wonder, what can you do for a lot of hours when you're stuck at the hospital? I think I asked this question before when I was thinking of like living in the hospital and never leaving and not getting out. This was different. We just went once a week or twice a week, and we would have basically a day in the hospital once a week. Just a few hours, like 6 hours maybe or something at the beginning. And so anyway, for just a few hours, if you had time to plan ahead and time to prepare ahead, what kind of activity would you bring for yourself to distract yourself in the hospital, or just to keep yourself a little bit, I don't know that you always want to be distracted, but just to keep yourself a little bit entertained and not too much worrying about what's happening, but just helping yourself enjoy life as much as you can in the circumstance that you have. What kind of activities can you do when you're stuck in the hospital for hours? I'd love to hear your favorites.
I'm Anastasia, and this is something that helped me. I know every story is different, but I hope that in this you can find something to help you as well. Best of luck. It used to really bother me. Every single person would say, I don't know how you do it. And for me, I realized the answer is 1 day at a time, sometimes 1 minute at a time. People would say, I could never do that. Yes, yes, you could, and you will. The journey is long and bumpy, but keep taking those tiny steps, and you can do this. I promise. Whatever is standing in front of you today, you can get through it.